Hey guys, so I'm got my pile of roots here, orchid roots here, and so I'm trying to see if I can resurrect some of these dead bulbs. So I'm just gonna clear away all the dead skin, trim up all the roots, and cut the tips off like you would do with any, like an onion bulb, you know, to increase the activation of the plant, like, you know, regenerate the plant, you know, rejuvenate it. And then I'm just going to place it in some potting mix, and later I'm going to put in some orchid compost potting mix, so to see if the old plant are going to rejuvenate and survive, because, you know, they look very dead on the outside, but on the inside they're still very fresh. As you can see, you know, they're still very fresh, but, you know, all the leaves on the outside are dead. So maybe it was due to there was too much roots to compete in the small pot, that it had to sacrifice some of the older plants for the new younger shoots to emerge. So now that we've eliminated all the roots and divided up the plants, we will see if these old dead sacrificial bulbs will grow again. So another lease of life. Okay, I will update you guys in a couple of weeks on the progress of these plants, because like you see here, this looks dead with such a long root. But similar to an onion bulb, you just need to replant them, you know, give them a bit of a trim, and it'll come back up again. Because now it doesn't have to sacrifice itself, and it's got no other competition in the pot. Well, not as much these now anyways. There's no other roots for it to compete with. Look at that. That much root was taking up all the plant's nutrients, and, you know, the plant was already neglected as it is, and all it was feeding was roots. So basically all of these plants was sacrificial to enable the plant to still survive. New plants, the new bulbs to survive. So there's quite a handful of bulbs that I want to revive, hoping that, you know, we can still get something out of these plants. So, and it's also a good trial, you know, to make sure we're not leaving anything out, and that you don't miss out on potentials, that, you know, you can have another plant from these dead ones, or seemingly dead ones, because orchids are a nice variety, so you can never have too many. Okay, so I'm just going to leave about 4. Maybe I'll put the smaller ones with the smaller pots, give it more room to grow, and the big ones I'll leave with a bigger pot. So yeah, when I divided this plant up, I was just going to throw away these bulbs that I thought were, you know, dried and dead. But upon inspecting it, it's still very fresh. So they're like a dormant plant as such. Or maybe it's like a sacrificial, so the plant decides which one it wants to kill off in order to save the rest of the plant, you know, if it's lacking nutrients. So it's like chopping off its arms to save the body, you know. Look at that. So these plants, look at the mold that's building up on it. So there's the moisture. So you peel it out of the way, throw it out, you're cleaning it up, you know. See that? It doesn't look dead after all, but hopefully it'll survive. So there's 3 there. See, you wouldn't think that the plant is still alive. If you look at it, you think it's a dead bulb, but really it's just dried up on the outside, and it's still a fresh, dormant bulb on the inside. So see, look, it looks dead. So now these plants don't have to compete for nutrients with these 5 kilos of roots. It's got its own new lease in life, hopefully. Hopefully I can still save it. We'll know in a couple of weeks' time if it's, you know, coming up. If not, we know it's dead. But I'll leave one without snipping the heads. I've been snipping all the heads to make sure, you know, they're still fresh, but you can tell when you squeeze the bulb that it's still fresh because it's still very hard. Yeah. Let's see. This one's quite dry at the tip. Did say I was going to leave one to see. Well, maybe I'll leave this one. Yeah. If I'll tip off. So, I think that's the 2 more. Three more. 4. So it's 4 more. I'll get another pot and I'll see if I can save it all. So this pot I'll leave all the tips on cutting it up. I'll just cut up to here. To clean it up. There you go. Because all of that outer leaves is dying anyway, so get into the healthier inside bulb. See, so I'll leave this without snipping off the tip and see if that grows. So I'll experiment with this pot alone without nipping the tips. I'll still peel the outer leaves. That's dead or dying. That one I had to cut off because the tip was dry. Oh, there's 5. I thought there was only 4. There's 5. So that's easy to know then. The pot with 5 in there is going to be the experimental one. Basically all of this are experimental, to be honest. Not knowing if I can regrow these seemingly dead bulb, well, presumably dead bulb. See, so that was a new shoot that was coming out of that bulb. I didn't even realize, and I snapped it off. It's not going to grow, but we'll just leave it there anyways. There you go. So that one's got 5. So put a very, very thin layer of orchid potting mix in here because I want to expose the tip of these bulbs. Making sure that, you know, they get some sunshine to grow, if they're able to grow. So very, very thin layer of compost, potting mix, you know, just to keep them down, keep them moist, and so they're able to hopefully grow. So that we don't, you know, discard of the seemingly dead bulb in the future. Well, I don't discard the seemingly dead bulb in the future. Okay, so we're going to leave this in the shade for a day or two before we take them out into the sun. So we're going to water these and then leave them in the shade for a day or two. Then I'll feed the rest of the roots to the worms. Hopefully they eat it. If not, it'll just be compost with the rest of the mulch. Alrighty, I'll update you guys in a couple of days or about a couple of weeks to see if we get any progress with these 4 and that tub there with the 5 in it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.